Hello everyone, my name is Legend Ronnie and this game is Rise of Kingdoms, and we have Leonidas I Commander Spotlight, one of the iconic characters that everyone has been waiting for in Rise of Kingdoms. Now, is there a lot to talk about him? Yes. Have I been waiting for him? Yes. A little bit disappointed about his look? Yes. So let's get into his Commander Spotlight and let's see what we can find out or what we can learn more about Leonidas. First thing first, he is a legendary commander, so you want to know approximately the amount of sculptures that it actually requires to max a legendary and the stars. The sculptures is exactly, the stars is approximately. Now, he is also a Mightiest Governor event, so this is pretty much the only way you can actually obtain his sculptures at the beginning. Once the Mightiest Governor event has passed, you will get him in the Car King event, but it comes pretty later on. So for example, we have Car King right now and we don't have Attila yet, meaning that it passed 2 months since we actually had our last Attila Mightiest Governor, the Car King event. So that means that you kind of have to wait if you didn't manage to summon him from the Mightiest Governor event, probably 3 to 4 months until you can summon him again. He's obviously an infantry commander and he also have the defense talent tree, which brings him very useful for any infantry commander. Also, a couple more important things about legendaries or any commanders alike: the equipment only applies from the primary commander, so this is very important. Also, the primary skill on each and every commander in general is the most important one. You're noticing that he's still 1 star, so until I'm gonna max out his primary skill, he's not gonna get a 2nd star. After that, depending on the commander, you can upgrade him to 2nd or the 3rd, depending which skill you're interested in. But I do have to say that if you're unlocking all his skills, it's random. So you're not getting a guarantee on the primary, you're not getting a guarantee on the 2nd or on the 3rd if you have all 4 skills unlocked. So that's why players just keep him at 1 star or any commander. Then if they want to max out the 2nd skill, then they just move him to the 2nd star. So that way it's not random because there's nowhere else the skill can go. So that's very important. Also, talents only apply from the primary commander. We will get into the talents a little bit later on. Going through his skills, there's no reason to actually just go ahead and read them, but I do have to say the primary 2 skills are kind of the most important skills. So the first 2, if you want to do like a minimum investment on Leonidas and you just want to have another infantry commander, another legendary commander decent enough or something better than epics, maxing out the primary 2 commanders and then just unlocking his other 2 skills, in my opinion, he will be really good enough. I was mentioning about this when they just introduced the commanders into the game, when we were just able to actually see this. When you get to his 3rd skill, just by unlocking the 1st level, meaning that you get him to 3rd star, you get a self shield by 600. So that's a huge investment just to get a 800 shield. The attack obviously is way less, but you still get the majority of the skill. And then when you get to his 4th skill, by just unlocking the first one, meaning that you just get him to 4 star, you still get 5%. So pretty much you still get half of the skill. So doing a 5-5 Leonidas, it's actually, field battle ready, or you can actually start using him in the Sunset Canyon or where else. The expertise is very powerful, but I do have to say that a lot of players have said that you don't really see much of a difference. When your march actually gets to 10% strength, it's very low. From a 50% army expansion march, that means like 31,000 troops. I mean, even if you boost them with 400% strength, on the field battle, at that point you're pretty much swarmed in, so you're probably gonna die on the next turn. So I'm not sure how much 400% damage increase will help. But I do have to say some very interesting pairs when we're gonna get to the pairs, and that's where I actually think this expertise works really well. So 5-5-1-1 Leonidas, he's field battle ready. Now if you're an infantry player, I would definitely use him primary. When we get to the pairings, I'm going to talk more about it. So let's get into the talents, and let me show the talent tree that I would actually do on Leonidas for field battles. I do have an image which is also on my Discord. You have it over here. Field battles talent tree Leonidas. So you have the defense talent tree part, and you also have the infantry talent part. And I'm also going to zoom in this a little bit just so you see better over here. So you have all the good stuff that you need from the infantry talent tree, except the march speed, meaning that he's gonna be a slow, a really slow commander. He doesn't have any march speed on his skills, and this is the defense part. So you're also going to have a little bit of heal. This is the beauty of the defense talent tree, and this is the beauty for the infantry. Because, for example, infantry is kind of avoided, and kind of defense commanders are avoided, like Richard, Charles, and I would honestly say pretty much Leonidas as well, because players know that they have the defense talent tree, and they're very tanky. They don't go down that fast. And with that little bit of heal, you can actually stay for very long into the battlefield, you know, and keep pounding and popping skills and doing damage and enjoying. Other ways to actually build his talent tree, it would be only if you want to drop the medicinal supplies and obviously attack and health, and if you want to put more march speed. So if you actually believe that you're traveling a lot every single time and you want your march speed to literally just be a little bit faster, in situations like if you're using him in Osiris League, I would probably drop medicinal supplies because I wouldn't care about bringing troops back or the march speed surviving longer. I would most likely care about the march speed. But in situations like KVK or the ruins, where you know your Leonidas will not be a target if he's primary or leading, then I'll definitely go for the medicinal supplies, because that will actually, you know, keeping in the battlefield for longer. So pretty much his talent tree is as simple as it can be. Now we're definitely gonna go into the pairings, and from what my players that actually max his skills and max the skills of Guan Yu, they are saying that Guan Yu and Leonidas is doing really awesome on the ruins. You guys know that if you don't know, on the light and darkness system, when you go to the ruins or the altar of darkness, you can only bring one march in, or at least you can only use one march. Because I've seen players bringing more marches, but they just get stuck. So don't try any of those things. You can only utilize one march when you're inside the ruins or when you're inside the altar. And apparently Guan Yu and Leonidas is doing really well. My recommendation for those ruins would probably be if you want to use Guan Yu with Alexander, so you can actually have even more march speed, because you get 15% from Guan Yu and you get another 30 from Alexander. So that's 45% march speed bonus. Infantry has a little bit of mobility. If you want to use Leonidas primary, and for group battles, when you're doing a lot of marches, for example 5 marches, and you just want to bring as many infantry marches as you can, I would definitely go for Leonidas primary instead of using him secondary. I would definitely try to benefit from this talent tree, meaning that you can have 3 super defensive commanders on the battlefield, and if you want to count the 4th, you have Constantine. So you can have 4 super defensive infantry marches on the battlefield, and you can actually tank and take a lot of damage for your team. Now, who you should actually put second to Leonidas? Well, there's plenty of options, and you're noticing that there's 49 summoned commanders plus another one, which is Archer, so it doesn't count. But there's plenty of options that you can actually put as second to Leonidas. For example, you could go with someone like Mehmed. You could also go with someone like Julius Caesar. You can definitely put Alexander as well if you don't have a better pair for Alexander. Going further up, you can definitely even put someone like Eulji. You can definitely put someone like Sun Tzu, for example. It would be very optimal to try to hide a nuker or a skill damaging commander behind Leonidas, because if you're doing, like I was mentioning, at least 4 super tanky infantry marchers for field battles, that's pretty much the best way you can go with. You put the defense commanders first, and then you try to put a skill damaging commander as a second in command. Like I was mentioning, pretty much you're hiding it, meaning that you're doing some damage in the same time. You're not just, you know, very tanky. Definitely you can go with Ethelflaed. So if you're pairing someone else with your Richard, then if you have Ethelflaed available, you can go Leonidas and Ethelflaed. There's nothing wrong in it. If you're doing like mix of marches, Charles Martel can also go as a second to Leonidas. You'll have like double shields once it gets to 50%. Definitely Frederick, definitely YSG. So plenty of options and possibilities that you can put as second to your Leonidas. Scipio, yes, if you just want to increase the defensive options of your commander. Joan of Arc as well, very good option. But personally, I would put Joan of Arc second to Constantine. So if you want to use Constantine in the same time on the battlefield, I would put Joan of Arc as second to Constantine. If you're doing at least 4 marches of infantry, my recommendation is to add Joan of Arc in there. The reason I'm saying that is because infantry in general, they don't generate so much rage as much as skill damaging commanders do. So actually having Joan of Arc, this is kind of the only thing that you'll benefit from her. She does have some increased normal attack damage, but it's nothing crazy. The other one is a heal with 5% internal cooldown, so it's again nothing crazy, and then you get the gathering skill. But this is what you're gonna benefit from Joan of Arc, the rage restoration. For the next 12 seconds, you get 50 rage per second, and that's really awesome because you don't get the rage all the time. Because I do have a belief that the rage generation has a limit per turn. You cannot get like 1,000 rage in a turn. So that's something I've just noticed playing for 2 years. It's not something I can actually prove it, but it's just something I can notice. So the rage restoration per turn is limited. So this is actually really awesome because you get it for 4 seconds. So it's split up in 4 turns. On the same time, you also get 30% infantry health. So that's also gonna boost the survival of your infantry when they are getting damaged. So for those 4 turns, you will definitely lose less infantry from those marches that are actually getting hit. So it's a very good reason when you're doing a lot of infantry marches to actually bring Joan of Arc. It might not sound beneficial for you, but it definitely is beneficial. You might thinking that you want to bring a nuker second to Constantine, so again, you're just trying to hide another skill damaging commander, YSG or whichever other skill damaging commander you want to put second to Constantine. But I can tell you that Joan of Arc will be a very helpful commander for your infantry marches. Or you can go Richard and Joan of Arc, or you can go Leonidas and Joan of Arc. Plenty of possibilities. Now, I was mentioning about some very interesting pairs with Leonidas, and that is Richard and Leonidas. Not necessarily super defensive, but very good marches that you can actually do either for field battles or garrison in Osiris League specifically. Richard and Leonidas just proved to be very defensive. I also believe that Charles Martel and Leonidas would pretty much have the same result, but I don't think it has been tested yet. So apparently Leonidas is being very good in garrison. He does have a versatility talent tree, meaning that he can be used in a lot of armies. If you look at his skill, it says health bonus, troops led, so it doesn't specifically say infantry. Second skill, when army led by the commander contain only infantry units and increase the speed of rage gen. So pretty much this skill will not have effect unless you have infantry. But then we go to the third one. When army led by this commander has been reduced to less than 50%, there is a chance to gain a shield, while the shield lasts increase the attack of infantry troops. So you're definitely not going to benefit from the attack of infantry troops, but you can definitely get the shield even if you don't have infantry. Then we go to the fourth skill. While on the map, Leonidas' attack has 25% chance to increase all damage dealt by his own troops by up to 10%, last for 5 seconds and stack up to 4 times. Again, nothing specific for infantry. So it's pretty much the second, and it's pretty much the attack bonus that will not affect if you're trying to use Leonidas with other troops. But anything else, just because he's a versatile commander like Alexander, everything else can actually work with any kind of troops. So that's something very interesting, and for that reason, he's being used quite in a lot of combination. I would also believe that probably Wu Zetian and Leonidas can also be a very interesting pair probably to try for Garrison in Osiris League. So definitely a lot of possibilities for Leonidas. And as an infantry player, he's a must-have. Guan Yu, as much as people will keep saying that he's weak, but how much is being used? The game gets to the point, which I was mentioning, like, you know, let's not say years ago, but a while ago, when commanders will have specific roles. For example, Guan Yu, apparently he's awesome in the Osiris League, and he's awesome in the one-man ruins or altar in the Light and Darkness. So there you go. But when he's gonna go on the battlefield, like for example when Kingsland open, then I would prefer to put him as a second in command. I would probably lose half of his damage from the primary skill. It's being reduced to like 1 second in command. So it's being reduced to 1,000. It's being reduced to half. But I would rather just benefit from the silence when I get there. When you get to the 5 armies, I would rather make sure to just benefit from the silence and keep him on the battlefield for longer than actually just putting him primary and making him a target, because once someone will target you with 5 marchers is different than ruins. It's way different. So a lot of possibilities you can actually do with infantry, with Leonidas as well, and I do believe that is definitely a worthy investment. Alright, that's pretty much all about this video. This is what I have to say about Leonidas Commander Spotlight. If you're an infantry player, you definitely want to get him. Plenty of options you can use him, and plenty of places you can actually use him. For field battles, must have commanders, and I would say that he has a very good role in Osiris League as well, even though his damage is very low, but I would definitely still try him out. Until next time, this is your boy Johnny signing off. Peace out, yo, and take care. See you on the next one. Stay safe.